action. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Direct Strike Commander Guide. This time we'll be talking about Han and Horner. So, here's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to talk about Han and Horner's hero abilities in Direct Strike. We're going to talk about the Han and Horner strategy, or the mindset, really. And then we're going to go over the units in enough detail that you'll know how to use them for each situation. And then we'll feature some gameplay of some of our strategies that we are going to be using. For you new faces here, if you guys enjoy commander guides and Direct Strike commander guides, be sure to drop a sub, watch this video to the end, and see if you like it. I do Direct Strike Weekly Brawl tier lists at the end of each week as well, and lots of Weekly Brawl videos on the weekends and across the week. So without further ado, let's dig into it. So Han and Horner's passive abilities. So before we actually start talking about the passives, Han and Horner's units actually have quite a lot of upgrades to all of them. Almost every unit has 2 upgrades to their name, and so those upgrades are also very powerful. So we are going to talk about each of them in detail, but just know that you're going to be spending quite a bit of money on upgrades for the units that you want to optimize for. So Han and Horner has 2 passives. One of them is Significant Other. So Han's units gain attack speed for each Horner unit, and Horner units gain % max HP for each Han unit. Pretty straightforward. We'll get more into it a little bit later on. And then we also have Salvage. Han and Horner can sell units for their full cost. They get all the money back, but they can only sell a limited number of units. So I think it's like every 20 or 30 seconds, you get 1 charge of salvage. So if you don't have any charges of salvage left, you can't sell any units. All right, but considering you get all your money back, unlike other commanders, you have a great advantage. The Han and Horner mindset is really just you want to play as unpredictably as possible, right? You have the capacity to outmaneuver your opponents, right? Because you can just sell your entire comp for something else. So you could build a composition that forces your opponent to build something to counter it. And until your opponent fully commits to it, you don't sell it off. And once they commit to a full counter to your current comp, bam, sell it off and build a comp that counters their current one that they built to counter your previous one, right? You also have some of the best air units in the game, so take advantage of that. Like, if you really just don't want to mess around with salvage, you can just build a very powerful air domination comp and just win the air for your team. And your ground forces are also very powerful. Do not underestimate them. I've seen many Han and Horners just not build their ground units, when in fact that their ground units are quite useful and quite powerful in more ways than one. So let's have a look at Mirror Han's units. So Han's units are all the sort of tier 1 units. I think essentially almost all of Han's units are the tier 1 units. And so they gain up to 50% increased attack speed based on the number of Horner units. And I believe it's like every Horner unit that you buy gives them around, I think, 4%, like 3 to 4% attack speed. And I think the Sovereign Battlecruiser gives them 5% attack speed. So it's like based on how much the units cost as well. And so here we go. Our first Han unit is the Reaper. It's 65 minerals, and really all you want to be building Reapers for is just for the early game push, just run it down to mid and get the middle income. However, there is a niche high DPS glass cannon build where you combo with Thea Ravens and their multi-threaded analysis. So multi-threaded analysis causes the Thea Raven to analyze multiple targets, and when the target's analyzed, they take 3 extra damage from each attack. Reapers shoot twice, so that's giving Reapers plus 6 damage effectively. And so it's a very niche, high TPS glass cannon build. I have rarely gone it myself. I've seen it in action once or twice, but it's very, very vulnerable to AoE because Reapers don't have a lot of health. But it's a build that's out there. Just want to throw it out there for you guys so you can know about it. Next, we have the Hellion and the Hellbat. So the Hellion is one of the best anti-armor units in the game. I would say, because it's a light unit. Most of the anti-armor units are also armored themselves, so they take bonus damage from the targets they also deal very well against. But these guys don't. You want to combo Hellions with Hellbats, so you want to have a line of Hellbats and you want to have a line of Hellions. And together, Hellions can counter high HP targets using Tar Bombs. So Tar Bombs reduce the enemy attack range by 3 and slows them by 75% movement speed. So if your opponent just has, it's just good against large waves in general, because the Tar Bomb does have a small AoE, and you just basically CC your opponent's wave as soon as you meet, and if they have any range units, they have to walk up to you, which means your Hellions are not taking any damage in that time. And also, Aerosol Stim is another upgrade that is hidden behind Tar Bombs. So you have to buy Tar Bombs first and then get Aerosol Stim. Aerosol Stim will combo really well with literally anything. I have here written like Greats, Deimos, and Galleons they'll combo well with, but like they're good with they're good on each other, right? Aerosol Stim increases the attack speed of neighboring units when the Hellion dies. And Hellions are going to die in large numbers because they don't have a lot of HP. Which is why you want to combo them with the Hellbat, which is a great frontline and crowd control unit. Hellbats are a decent unit to build in the early game push, just to like scramble to get middle income. And obviously, like as every Hellbat in the game, they counter light melee units. Immolation Fluid also increases DPS of Hellbats by 25 damage over 4 seconds. It's not a lot, but if you got a bunch of Hellbats spraying down the same guy, they're going to be taking Immolation Fluid a bunch of times, which is still very useful. And Wildfire Explosives is an upgrade hidden behind Immolation Fluid, and it causes enemies to be feared for 0.7 seconds, I believe, when the Hellbat dies. So it's a decent amount of time. And if you have a lot of Hellbats, you can chain stun your entire enemy's wave, like essentially chain stun it. So Hellbats are definitely very useful. If you don't end up building any Han and Horner ground unit, right, Hellbats is the one ground unit that you should at least consider having some of, because they will help slow down your opponent's wave. But honestly, Hellion and Hellbat together is actually a very lethal combination. By itself, they don't look dangerous, but together they are quite powerful. They do kind of drop off in the late game, which is why you will need to consider transitioning to air units. But we have one more unit to talk about before we go over to Horner's units. So there's the Widow Mine. So Widow Mine is the only Han unit that is in tier 2 and is great for swarms, just lots and lots of units. I'm talking like lots of Zealots, lots of Zerglings, even Marines, Marauders, just lots of those units. If you're facing up against a lot of those guys, bam, grab yourself some Widow Mines. They're 160 minerals, but they'll definitely pay you back for sure. Vanilla Widow Mines just by themselves, they do 125 plus 35 versus shield, so that's enough to kill off a Zealot for sure. And it also deals 40 splash plus 40 extra to shields to the units around it. So if you have like 5 or 6 of these guys, you can probably blow through like 20 units, like 20 Marines, 20 Marauders, something like that. You have the potential to do enough damage to that to like significantly like maim that wave. And then if you just have like a few Hellbats or some Hellions to clean up, or just even some flying units to clean up, you'll be in great position. I think that you should always get Black Market Launchers. Black Market Launchers is an upgrade that increases the range and burrow speed of the Widow Mine, so you should always get it. Because if you don't get the burrow speed increase, it takes like 1 or 2 seconds for the Widow Mine to burrow, and while it's burrowing, it's completely vulnerable, and it has no it doesn't really have a big HP pool, so your opponent can just kill it off, right? But once it gets in the ground here and has the extra range, it's going to start firing off. And you should get Executioner Missiles if you're still being overrun. So Executioner Missiles only activate when the Widow Mine dies, and it shoots out a missile that deals 40 splash and 40 bonus to shields. So just like more damage onto your Widow Mine, basically. And I think Black Market Launchers also makes it so that your Widow Mine shoots like twice as fast. So instead of getting a shot off every 30 seconds, it gets a shot off every, I think, like 14 or 15 seconds. So like at half the time. And you want to combo Widow Mines, honestly, with Assault Galleons. So Assault Galleons can produce all of Han's units, so all of the Tier 1 units that we just looked at, they can produce all of them. And I think the Widow Mine is probably the most valuable one that you want to be producing. Like, if you want to be maximum greed, you want to get the Widow Mine to be produced from the Assault Galleon, because the Assault Galleon, well, it's just turn out for units so long as it's alive, and Widow Mines do AoE, and AoE is premium, AoE is king in Direct Strike, and so you just want to get these guys out. So next, we're going to look at Horner's units. So Horner's units can gain up to plus 50% bonus HP based on the number of Han units. So Han units, I think all Han units give 1% bonus HP. So if you have like 50 Hellions, then you'll have 50% bonus HP on like your one Astera Wraith, for example. But only the Reapers give 0.5%, so you need to have like 100 Reapers. But if you have 100 Reapers, then like you're probably doing something totally different. Additionally, they have endurance training, so all of Horner's units regenerate 5.25 HP per second out of combat, which is kind of useful. I mean, it's better than not having it, right? So, I mean, it's just an added quality of life thing. And so the first unit I'm going to talk about is the Astera Wraith. So its base health is 400, but it can have up to 600 HP. And 600 HP, let me tell you, is the same amount. It's more HP than a battlecruiser, because battlecruisers only have 550. So safe to say that's pretty good. And I think Astera Wraith is probably the most well-rounded DPS unit that Horner that you can get as a tier 2 like flying air unit. You can combo it with Thea Ravens, because Thea Ravens obviously they do more damage, plus 3 damage, and these Astera rates in large groups can focus down high HP units quite effectively. Always buy Trigger Override, because Trigger Override causes Astera rates to shoot faster and faster. I think up to, I believe it's like a 50% increased attack speed. They shoot really fast, and so you combo this with their Ravens, you can just mow down like very high HP targets. I think like you can mow down a Dahaka pretty easily. You can mow down Tychus units easily as well. Anything with like 1k HP, you can like cut through it quite nicely. The only weakness Astera rates have is that they have very short range, and that's about it. It's like a really solid unit in terms of HP and how much it costs. It only costs 310 minerals as well. You should only get the unregistered cloaking system to counter EMP effects or feedback effects, because it removes the energy. Although it's only a 100 mineral upgrade to keep your rates permanently cloaked, which will really mess with your opponents, right? Because if they're permanently cloaked, your opponents have to get detection and not rely on, I don't know, them uncloaking and then maybe having a swan laser beaming them down. I don't know, guys. But yeah, it's 100 minerals, so just there's no point not getting it. And as well, there's also the Deimos Viking, which has 350 base HP and it can go up to 525. And this is your air dominance AoE unit. So with Wild Missiles, which is an upgrade you can buy, Deimos Vikings will shoot out like this cluster of missiles at enemy air units, and they do bonus damage to armored, and they will absolutely crush your opponent's airwave, because your opponent's airwave likes to stack up, right? Your airwave likes to stack up too, right? And so you'll just blow everything to shreds. And the only real things that can really contest a Deimos Viking, like a stack of Deimos Vikings in the air, is probably like Rainer Vikings, simply because Rainer Vikings have more range than them. And you can get Shredder rounds if you really need to get rid of a lot of ground units, because Shredder rounds will deal damage to all units in a line. So in front of the Deimos Vikings. So if you have enough Deimos Vikings, you can essentially just mow down an endless horde of locusts or zerglings. But you just need that critical mass. So against Zagara, you just need to build Deimos Vikings. That's the entire strategy. Nothing else really works. Just get lots and lots of Deimos Vikings and get some Hellbats in front. And eventually you will have so many Deimos Vikings that even the aberrations will die instantly, or almost instantly, to the Deimos Viking AoE damage. So Deimos Vikings is like your bread and butter unit, but it does cost quite a lot, 360, and you don't always have to get it. You can get the Wraith sometimes. And then last but not least, well, actually not last actually, we have the Sovereign Battlecruiser, which is a 900 HP to 1350 HP unit. And actually no, I believe it is close to 900. I think it is 900 minerals. It's a very powerful capital ship. And I think it's more of a mid to late game unit. You can build it once you have a decent air force. It's kind of unadvisable to build it by itself, because as with every capital ship, you are going to get crushed by anti-capital ship units. But if you do build it, you should always get the overcharge reactor. It makes it so that you can switch your weapons up from the normal sort of laser battery, which does like 18 damage per shot, to a mini Yamato gun that shoots, I believe, like once a second for 200 damage per shot, up to 260 damage per shot. 260 damage will kill most things. Only like a few things can survive it. Like an Ultralisk will take 2 hits to kill, but like that's very powerful. And you can get this to kill off big units, although it's probably unadvisable against most of the commanders who do have big units. You can get this, I think you can get this against Phoenix. I think it might be very good against Phoenix, because Phoenix has a lot of big HP units. Tychus is unadvisable because he'll steal it. Dahaka is unadvisable because he'll eat the first one. So if you have enough money to buy 2, then this is good. Against Alarak, you will absolutely dominate him, because all he has is like his motherships really to beat you back, and this will just 2-shot basically most things that he has. And I don't know, those are just 3 things. I think you can get this to as a nice cherry on top, sort of like, we're winning, let's just get this unit to end the game thing. And we also have 2 more units here. So there's the Strike Fighter. This is a 200 mineral, one-time use, flying Baneling. Well, not one-time use, as in like it uses, like it spawns and it drops its load and then it's done. It's gone, right? It can be shot down. It only has 50 HP, so try not to place it at the front, where your opponents can probably one-shot it. Place it slightly in the back, or to the middle. And if you want to place these, place them staggering. Like, don't keep them all clustered up because you don't want them to bomb the same area. You want to try and get the bombs to spread them out, because most likely what you're trying to get this for is to supplement your anti-ground potential, because your Deimos Vikings and your Hellbats just aren't cutting it. Like, you need even more splash damage than Widow Mines can offer. Buy some Strike Fighters. And always get the Napalm Strike upgrade, because it causes the ground that they bomb to be set on fire, and it deals like 200 damage over that course of time. So it's very, very powerful. The bomb itself does 175 damage, so that'll kill off a lot of things. You can use it to bomb like a Dahaka that's like just standing still on top of your wave, although your opponent will probably adjust his Dahaka placement so that doesn't happen anymore. But it's just great to like just crush your opponent's front line with this, or mid line. Put it in the back of your wave, and then your wave will connect, and then the Strike Fighters will move up, and then it'll bomb somewhere between like the mid and front line of your opponent's wave, allowing you to push through really hard. You can also meme with this if you want to. Your teammates will hate you. You could just build pure Strike Fighters and try to take down the buildings, because it does 400 damage to buildings. And your Nexus, I believe, only has 2,000 base HP and 1k shields. So all you need is like 8 of these guys to connect to the enemy Nexus, and you win. Don't try this build. I have personally never tried this build, but I know that it is a possibility. Very bad one, but it is a possibility. I just want to throw it out there too. And finally, we have the Assault Galleon. I think the Assault Galleon is probably your best sort of flying siege unit, better than the Sovereign Battlecruiser. Sovereign Battlecruiser is your only tier 3 unit, but I think it's really hard to get it because it costs so much. Assault Galleons cost 450. That's still quite a lot, and it's a neutral unit, so it doesn't have a Han status or a Horner status. It doesn't have either. If it had either, I think it would be too broken either way. But this is a great mid to late game unit. Never ever build this by itself, because it doesn't do enough damage to protect itself. Like, a bunch of Marines could take this down. Like, 450 minerals worth of Marines could probably take this down. So don't build it by itself. Always build it like after you have like a decent wave set up. And get it to either produce Hellbats or Widow Mines, right? Before I said Widow Mines are really good, but Hellbats are also decent too, because they offer some extra tankiness, extra CC, so it's really depending on what your wave needs. Don't get them to make Reapers. Like, just Reapers are just a waste of time at that point in the game. And once you get to tier 3, you can also get drone hangar upgrades, and you should always buy them if you can't afford them, because it increases their DPS by quite a lot. And they have 10 range, so they'll be safely in the back shooting while you have a front line. And which is why you should always get this as a support siege unit. And I forgot to mention, or actually no, I didn't forget to mention, but I should save it for the end, is that all of these air units that we just went through, like the Deimos Viking, the Battlecruiser, the Steer Raid, and the Assault Galleon, they all have an ability called Tactical Jump. You have to research it, though. I think only the Sovereign Battlecruiser is the only one that comes with Tactical Jump already researched. But you have to research all of them. And when you do, you can micro the Tactical Jump, because it allows them to blink somewhere. So you can blink your Deimos Vikings on top of your opponent's backline or your midline of Hydralisk and just chop them to pieces. You can blink your Steer Raids backwards so that it meets up with your allies wave that's coming, and then you guys double stack, right? You can do a lot of creative stuff with this. You can blink your Assault Galleons to safety, right? And so be sure to get that upgrade when it is available, because you can just use it to micro your wave so much better. And I think that's basically it for all the units, information, and when you should use them, when you should build them, how to build them. And because there's no real like build that you need to follow with Han Horner, you just sort of got to run it by ear, I think. And it's all about the flexibility. So let's go see some gameplay right now. All right, and we're in. Let's go. So let's put down some Reapers over here, just to nab some tempo over here, because in normal Direct Strike, or at least normal commanders, you still want to be able to nab the tempo here. And it looks like someone on her team is lagging, as per usual. Just another day in the Direct Strike lobby. So I guess we'll just have to wait it out. And yeah, at the current moment, I don't know what my opponents are, so I don't really have any strategy in mind to counterplay, but usually it's going to involve selling off the Reapers and transitioning into either Wraiths or Vikings, or I need to get a stronger ground composition. So we'll see which one of those it is going to be really soon, I hope. Oh, okay. No, we're not back yet. Alright, So it looks like it's going to be a 2v3. Now, Han and Horner is actually very powerful in a 2v3 because your units are so powerful. If your rates stack up, they actually are very, very strong. And if you spawn more often, well, your rates are going to stack more often. So here we go. Let's just grab that refinery over here, and you can get jetpack overdrive. So if your opponents have a bunch of Zerglings or melee units, so you can just fly right over them. You just hover this upgrade here, and that looks like it's not going to be useful here. The cluster charges here will be okay. We'll throw one grenades for a discipline unit. But as you can see here, it looks like I am against Alarak here. Okay, that's going to be pretty nice here. This little demo charge. Reapers still do a lot of damage to buildings, though. And it looks like it's a double Alarak composition. Okay. And, oh my god, double Han and Horner.
Break it down.
Wonderful. Okay, so Alarak's counter to Han and Horner, I believe, is... like Slayers, I think. Slayers and Wrathwalkers. Because I don't think Destroyers can actually do anything against Stameless Vikings if I choose to build them. Which I will. I'm going to build them up right now. I'm going to get some tier 2 research. And it looks like Jax here is our Swan.
Nova here.
Well, okay. And Swan into Tychus. Ooh, that's going to be a bad time. Okay. That's going to be a bad time overall.
What's the plan?
He's going to need some Cyclones here. But it also means I might be pushing into Tychus. I might push into Tychus. That'll be pretty bad, actually. Let's see. I'll probably need to get a ground comp transition soon, though. I need to probably... here's what I'm going to do. We are going to need to drop down some Hellions over here, just as prescribed. Hellions will help slow down Alarak a bit, but we also need some Hellbats to tank him. So I'll spread out some Hellions here. Probably just going to sell my Reapers here. Let's see. They do 4 damage, 2 attacks. That's 8 damage.
What's it worth?
Let's just sell them off here. We're gonna get some Hellbats over here. Hellbat. And can I get a second one? Nope.
Talk to me. Break it down.
Oh, I can. Ooh. Okay, so now you gotta make sure you get some tar bombs out here. And somehow I still have access to Reaper upgrades, but I don't have any Reapers left, so that's interesting. I'm gonna get some Aerosol Stim over here. And so I have the Hellions on the side. Oh, I still have 1 Reaper here. Oh, I missed one! Okay. Well, it looks like Jax here is lagging still. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, why am I having that? Okay, so as you can see here, that was very effective against Alarak's Wave here. I was playing only Slayers. And so actually a full ground composition with Hellions, I like to call them grenade cars, is actually not too bad against Alarak. And so I'm probably going to be sticking with it for some time here, but I know some of my units here are not optimally placed. And so I'm going to place them more optimally here. Let's see, so I think in order to place them, I need to make sure they're like right over here. There we go. And then these guys should be right here, like that. And like that. There we go. There we go. Probably actually get a refinery here. I'm gonna get Immolation Fluid and Wildfire Explosives here. So grenade cars here, like the Hellions, are also very good against Tychus as well. So it's an added plus that I guess I'm building this. And so I think I can gas right now. Like it's honestly fine at around 4 minutes. There we go. I think I have enough Hellbats right now as it is. Oh no, I might not have enough. Actually no, I have just enough. I have just enough to push through here. So yeah, there we go. Enemy Alarak here coming in. Tar Bombs here really slowing him down. Even though he's heroic, he's getting slowed down here. And so all you want to do is just make sure you have enough grenade cars and enough Hellbats, and you'll have a good time against opponents with high HP hero units. This would work well against... I think this works less well against Kerrigan, I think, because Kerrigan is one of the more powerful heroes. But it works pretty nicely against Tychus as well. The Tychus hard counter is literally just a bunch of Hellions. That's all you gotta do. Our Swan, however, has gone Thors. Swan needs to build Cyclones against Tychus. Swan, you need Cyclones to counter Tychus. Because Cyclones have a lock-on capacity that'll just burn through one unit really fast. And it does like 500 up to 750 damage per set over the duration. And so Tychus just doesn't have enough HP units to tank it. And it looks like Alarak here got himself a bunch of Supplicants here. That'll let him stay alive. and actually burn through most of my wave here. Okay. Now it's time to introduce a Steer Wraith into the mix here, because I'm going to need something that can just give me some DPS, I guess. My Han and Horner ally here, however, has gone for the very greedy Assault Galleon with nothing on it. So this is how you don't do it, you guys. So I guess it's a great showcase of what to do and what not to do simultaneously. Although playing in like sort of the public lobbies, you will generally get some more mean matchups most of the times here. And here you can sort of figure out how to avoid it for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to get the unregistered cloaking system here. I didn't get Trigger Override. Oh, actually no, I was wrong about Trigger Override. It goes up to 100%. Okay, so it's even better than I thought it was. Go. I can't really detect Sam in his stealth there, and oh god, that's gonna hurt my wave. And I'm pretty sure very soon one of these two people on our team is gonna start complaining about someone leaking. As is usual. Just another day. Just another day in the Starcraft 2 Arcade. I don't know. Everyone's just malding. Most people are just malding in here. I don't know. Although it really doesn't do anything for you. So this is why you don't buy Assault Galleons by themselves. Yeah. They don't do enough. You need to protect them, and if you can't protect them, like, you're literally wasting your money here. And as you can see here, Alarak is just going to charge right through. Our Nexus will be able to probably clean up those Slayers, but yeah. Please do anything besides Assault Galleons. Please do anything besides Assault. Like, okay, as you can see here, this build is quite effective against Tychus. And I guess it's probably the most, I guess, enemy-proof build that I have, because it deals damage to... It cuts through Alarak decently, and it cuts through Tychus pretty nicely as well. However, I don't have enough units here, and this guy's wave is so squishy. Yeah, like, you need, if you want Assault Galleons, you need to have some Aerosol Stim there to back you up. And honestly, at this point, I'm at a loss here of what to do. I'm gonna put down another Wraith here, in hopes that this will do something. But I think what I need is just more Hellions. Or a new team, you know, there's also that, but, you know, unfortunately I can't get that right now, so I have to buy something that's within my power to control. There's that, and there's that, and that's probably the game here. We're taking a lot of damage on our Nexus, and we're gonna lose, maybe? No, we're not. Okay, so Slayers just don't do enough damage, it seems. And, ooh, Implosion Core Grenade here, doing lots of damage here. That's why you need to get a second line of Hellions. When you're facing Tychus, you need to have 2 lines of Hellions to cut through it here. And I think Jax might be lagging here. Yep, there we go. Alright, we're just gonna sit tight here. But yeah, as you guys can see here, we're getting a great showcase of how to play Han and Horner, I guess, and how not to. Because for the most part, I've been handling my wave. But yeah, this is why you don't build Assault Galleons by themselves. They don't do enough damage, and they only start paying off when they stay alive for more than like 30 seconds. Because it takes 20 seconds to produce a unit. And if your Galleon goes down before 20 seconds, then you're not going to get that free unit. And that 450 minerals you paid for, you just paid for basically 500 HP and like 20 damage every like 0.7 seconds. Not a lot of damage, by the way. So your value from Assault Galleons really just comes from keeping them alive, which is why you can never build them by themselves. And here we're going to drop Jax here, but this might just cause our... it might actually be better for us, it might actually be worse, because I'll spawn more often, and if I spawn more often, my wave will be able to do more. However, my wave is very squishy, and so once my opponents start getting any form of AoE, I'm screwed. However, Alarak's AoE is limited to motherships and vanguards, so I'm not too worried here. But look at this, they don't shoot fast. You need to make sure you buff up your Assault Galleons with Hellions and the Aerosol Stim. The Aerosol Stim will cause them to shoot faster, and I need to make sure I get Tactical Jump here, so that I can at least try and micro my rates here. There we go. As you can see, my rates have plus 22% max HP, and so they're really healthy, really tanky units here, and so they'll stay alive for quite a bit. Aerosol Stim here just coming in pretty strong. And, oh my god, I need Thea Ravens. My wave is just, I just can't hold against all these Slayers, but the Slayers are just way too tanky. And they're gonna burn through our Nexus here. There's a Boswell here. Boswell is probably just gonna end it for us here. Yeah, there it is. There we go, guys. So let's have a look at the stats. Okay, so Alarak counters Han and Horner with these Colossi here, the Wrath Walkers. That is probably a good strategy here. And honestly, Alarak with just the Slayer build is very useful. So let's just have a look at here. I only killed 27 units here, but I dealt the most damage. 38k here, probably because he... I don't know. 38 kills here, and let's see, 12k damage here. I took a lot of damage, dealt a lot of damage. Mineral value killed 7k though, so this that 38 more units killed really doesn't really matter here. And 4k minerals collected. Alright, so that was a great demonstration of how not to play Han and Horner, and kind of how to play Han and Horner, but that was a really short game. So let's move on to grab the second one in this one. Alright, and we are back.
Sounds like a plan.
So, same idea.
You can count on me.
I'll pop down some Reapers here. It's generally okay to forego the first gas, I think. Just so you can get that middle income here. Although I am committing quite heavily to the Reapers here. But I'm now going to nab a refinery over here. And there we go. Same idea as last time. Rinse and repeat. Let's see what allies do we have here. We got a Kerrigan going to tier 2 right away. Okay, that's a good sign. And we have a Swan. Okay, that means we have to carry the early game. Because Swan is probably just going to sit on his hands for a good time. Most people who play Swan just like to do that. And Kerrigan going to tier 2 probably means that she's going for a Hydra Rush. And our opponents have not put anything out here. Oh, never mind. It's a Rainer. Okay, so Rainer is going to cause me some trouble in the late game with Rainer Vikings. Rainer Vikings are very powerful. And look at that, Reaper Demolition Specialist here. Just blowing up this cannon. Reapers are actually really good against cannons and buildings in general, but they got a low HP pool, so they die quite easily.
What's up?
Let's see. So I can probably get the LD9 clusters against Rainer, because Rainer ground forces are gonna die pretty nicely to these things. Let's see. It reduces the cooldown of the charge by 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Let's see. So it throws a little. Only does 10 damage though, but the knockback is pretty serious. So I will get this upgrade here. I'll just probably hang on to my Reapers for a little bit. So against Rainer, your Deimos Vikings will win for the most part in the early mid game. But once Rainer gets enough Vikings, he will be able to shut you down entirely. So I might just not pursue the air strategy against Rainer at all. Oh, he's got Banshees. He's got Banshees. Let's get the jetpack overdrive here, and we're just gonna fly right over the Banshees. There we go. That's how you do it, guys. Jetpack overdrive, fly over your problems. Banshees can only shoot down, and there we go. Okay, so that means Rainer wants to tussle with me in the air, so let's go. I will start losing eventually, though. There's always something to keep in mind. Very useful thing to remember. Even though you're one of the most powerful air commanders, Rainer is also one of the most powerful air commanders. There we go. Let's pop down Raven over here. And so that should help us see where our opponents are. Maybe I should put the Raven in a more central position. And this in a more central position. There we go. So we got a Kerrigan here. Kerrigan is zapping away. Kerrigan the hero is very powerful, so very useful. And we're going to get Wild Missiles here. So Wild Missiles here should help us out with Banshees. He's got some Dust Wings here. Yeah, those are Dust Wings. Let's see. So we can probably just fly into the air. Okay, and look at that. He's got Vikings already. And his Vikings are going to be hitting and distracted. I mean, his Vikings will be hitting my Deimos Viking for a long time. Simply because mine are distracted by the Banshees here. But my one Deimos Viking is able to kill 2 of his Vikings, but that won't be the case once the game carries on a little longer. And so, in an all-out air battle, I'll probably lose for sure in the late game.
Sounds like ready to blunder.
I think it's time to try out that niche build. Don't know if it'll work out nicely for me.
I'm listening.
But I think it's time to try it out. So you know that niche Reaper build I was talking about at the beginning of the video? I don't know if Reapers will be the best choice. They are light, so they won't take bonus damage from Vikings. That being said, a Viking volley will probably finish us off pretty nicely. But the Reapers can fly up into the air, and they can also tank for us, and so it's not too bad. That, or I'll have to keep my Deimos Vikings grounded. I'll have to see which one of those two comes to pass. And so as you can see here, 2 Rainer Vikings are absolutely no match for 2 Deimos Vikings. That being said, though, Rainer is eventually going to have air superiority. So I can either try and close the game out early, or I can just do something meme. Do something meme. I know this is a commander guide, but I also like to do some meme stuff as well. It's how you explore and figure out what works and what doesn't work, based on the stuff that you've tried.
Talk to me.
Let's see. So Deimoses are doing good here,
Sell me.
but I wonder if
Time for mana.
I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna buy some more Vikings here. I might be able to intimidate Raynor into thinking that his Vikings can't win. But Raynor has a red color scheme on him, which means he's a premium player. So he's been playing Direct Strike for some time, so he probably won't be intimidated by that. Because Raynor's Vikings will lose in the early game for quite some time, but eventually they will start winning. Okay, so he's got 6 of them here. And let's see. Oh, did he sell off his Dusklings? That is not the correct choice, my friend. And Vikings only do 10 damage, probably up to 13 damage, and then so they volley that to 26. Which means my Reapers can actually tank 2 volleys of Vikings here. I kind of want to do it. I mean, there's one way to know if the build works. I've always heard legends of the build, the Reaper build. I mean, Raynor doesn't really have any. He does have ground AOE though. He does. In tanks, but he's not building them. And we got a lot of Mutalisks coming in here. Mutalisks are quite good against Alarak because of the bounce, and he doesn't really have any good AoE besides Motherships. There we go. Let's get that Reaper. Let's get them Reapers. They're gonna be reaping. Let's see. My eyes are still somewhat gas here. Goliath's actually outranged the cannons here, so that's pretty good here. Raynor's committed to Vikings now, and so if I keep my Vikings landed and on the ground, he actually won't stand a chance against me. There we go. Reapers are just going to throw grenades at the cannon here. I'm going to get some weapon upgrades here so we can snipe off this cannon, and there we go. And however, against Artanis' Dragoon Wave, I do not stand any chance here at all. I just don't stand a chance here. Okay, there we go. The only thing is, like, if I do build Grounded Deimos, Raynor can easily counteract that by building some more Banshees of his own. So I'm gonna build some more Deimoses here. While I slept some space, and oh, enemy Raynor actually left. So I guess that means he doesn't know. He doesn't know that he will eventually beat me. Eventually is a really long-term thing, but you know, he will eventually beat me. Which means I gotta probably readjust my build for Alarak and Artanis here. Which means we'll probably have to see some grenade cars come out. And by some grenade cars, I mean like a lot of grenade cars, I think. Because right now, my Deimos Vikings are getting shredded to pieces here. Go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to.
Let's get into the fight.
Let's just sell these guys off here.
What's up?
There we go. I'm gonna get some grenade cars in here, up in here. There we go. And this is the outmaneuvering that I've been talking about. So eventually, they are going to build Archons and all forms of other AoE, but at the current moment, they do not have access to that yet. Okay, so that's our cannon here. There we go. I had a siege tank upgrade queue. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get car bombs over here, and we should be able to completely overwhelm them here. I think, with our numbers. But that being said, eventually, once Titan Horn starts getting, once Arcana starts getting some side storms, we're gonna have quite a bit of bad time here. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna need some of these guys to be Hellbats. So, now I don't want to select all of you. So over here, over here, over here. So in a 2v3 situation, the 2 is technically advantage because they spawn more often. The only disadvantage is that they can't counter the builds as effectively. And Slayers are a very solid unit to build, as witnessed last game, because they're quite durable. And so you can always just have lots of them. Let's see. And I find myself building lots of Slayers when I play Alarak as well. It's just such a comforting unit to have on your field here. And so I'm actually going to put some more Hellions back here. And let's see. Gains plus 2% attack speed. There we go, because I have 2 Dea Ravens here. So we've got some Siege Tanks here. I think with Siege Tanks and Lurkers, we should be able to stack up quite nicely. And I think what I need to get is actually some... I probably should get that research completed as well. So the Fear's coming in action here. We're getting some Chain CC here. And it's going to help out the Lurker here. And we're actually going to blow our way through this kind of decently here. There we go. blast our way through, and we actually burn through the Alarak wave with the help of the lurker over here. And I actually think we should probably get some strike fighters as well, because dragoons just sort of sit there. So let's just have a strike fighter over here, on the side here. Look at that, 175, and it does 100 damage over 7 seconds. Oops, overestimated on the thing. I was just sort of running this stuff on by memory, but it's 100 damage over 7 seconds, and it's still quite significant amount of damage that gets dealt. There we go. I'm gonna nab another one over here, and let's get the napalm payload over here, just so that the ground gets set on fire here. As soon as Swan's tanks start setting up and start staying alive here, Arcanus is gonna have a hard time burning through this wave. And look at that, there are the Archons with their side storms coming out here. However, I have so many grenade cars here that we're just able to overwhelm them. Sorry about that, my phone is popping off right now, and I swear to God that I had this on silent. Somebody needs to stop messaging me. There we go. That should be fine now. I have fixed the issue. And oh god, Swan tanks have stopped sieging up. So as you can see here, we're pushing back quite hard. And all you gotta do is just concentrate on getting some more of these. Let's see if these guys have already gotten kills. Even though I just put them out here. 175 damage is enough to kill a Dragoon. Almost enough to kill a Dragoon. And with the burning on the ground, the Dragoons probably stay there for quite a bit too. So the fire effect will definitely be very, very useful there. And let's see. How are we doing here? I'm just going to go for a full ground comp. Let's go. Even though Han Horner is an air commander all in all, Han Horner's ground is not to be underestimated. It's very, very powerful. And I think it's about time that I start building some assault galleons to support my ground composition here. Let's see. We're just going to burn through Alarak here. Do I have enough Hellbats here? I feel like I do. Yeah, Arcanus needs more Archons here, and it might be the case that Alarak might be going for motherships. The mothership will definitely do quite a lot here. And he's actually got some Phoenixes here, and I should probably take care of those. We have a bunch of Mutilas, and Kerrigan's going for Brood Lords for the Long Con stacking here, because obviously against Arcanus, Mutilas will get destroyed quite nicely. There we go. Let's pop another one of these down. Actually, you know what? We're not going to pop this guy down. We're gonna buy an assault galleon. Right now, this is a good time to buy assault galleon because you have a lot of ground units here, and assault galleons will take care of some of the air units here. This guy blinked all his stalkers forward. We need Thors. Thors will help CC all these ground units here, and so I think that'll be a pretty good call. Now, can I get out? Oh, this guy didn't make it out. Oh, that's so sad. So assault galleons are so big though. Like they take up 4x4 space. And I'm gonna put this guy over here. No, we need science vessels. Science vessels will keep stuff alive. I think, yeah, you know, that's not too bad. Choice. I'm gonna get some armor upgrades over here. How are there Marines on the field? How are there Marines on the field? I thought Raynor left. There's no Marines. Tankier versus anti-armor attacks. There we go. I have a lot of Hellions here, but they're getting blown to pieces quite nicely here. And oh god, the siege tanks are unsieging. That is probably the worst news, unless our wave here comes up just in time. There we go. There we go. Arcanus Side Storm coming out here. However, feedback is going to bully the science vessels. Feedback, though. From Archons. The tanks here are doing great, I think. The tanks here have been a great call. Swan Siege tanks do a lot of damage, and so it's very, very powerful. And let's see, can I put down a... I'm going to put down... Oh my god. Don't see many Archons yet, though, but they will be coming. You know they will be coming, so you want to prepare for the eventuality of Archons showing up, which means you don't want to build a build that is very Archon friendly. There we go. Oh, he's got some Tempest over here, so Arcanus actually building air against Swan, and myself as well. Not recommended, not wise. So I actually should disable everything here. You can disable the unit productions from the galleons here. So right now it's training a Widow Mine. There we go. Black Market Launcher. I'm going to Executioner Missile over here. And my wave is just going to barrel its way through here. We got some Vanguards over here. But you can see now the effectiveness of Assault Galleons being backed up by units on the ground here. They shoot pretty fast. Yeah, you have Tempest. That's a bad choice. Tempest don't shoot fast enough. And they really don't do enough damage here. And, okay, there we go. Alarak's wave here just shooting through mine. That's okay. We barreled through quite a lot. And looks like we have some people who at least have a bit more understanding of Direct Strike this time around here. And let's see, it is 14 minutes. I think I should gas up. I'm gonna gas up here. Get some money here. There we go, 14 minutes. Drop a gas over here, and let's see it. Yeah, Tempests don't do enough against the Goliaths here. The Goliaths will just burn them down quite nicely, and the Swan tanks will cut through all the Dragoons. If anything, Artanis should have just kept getting Immortals. Like, he has enough Dragoons, just go Immortal, and Archons, and eventually you should probably get some Reavers as well, but honestly, Artanis is pretty much set in that matchup here. It looks like we got some lag coming out here. So I got a Widowmine coming out and a Hellbat coming out here. And here we go. There we go, the Bomber's setting fire to the ground over there. Could probably get some more Bombers, honestly, like, just for the memes. Bombers are decent against a fully stacked wave like this. And okay, Psystorm is going to do significant damage to me. But my allies' waves here are all stacked up here, and Aerosol Stim affects your allies as well. Like, this Siege Tank is shooting faster, right? This Broodlord is shooting faster, and so it's very, very useful to help back up your team here. And I'm just going to build some more Assault Galleons. I find Assault Galleons are probably like one of the best support units to have with a ground army. Because usually if you're going ground, your opponent's probably also going ground. And so they're less vulnerable to anti-air units, because there'll probably be less air units in the air to begin with. And I don't want to build Deimos Vikings into this comp because they'll get shredded because they're armored. And Asteria Wraiths also don't do too well because they're armored, and Dragoons have 8 range and Slayers do double damage when they blink, so it's just a bad idea to build any of those into this composition here. You want to have something that outranges them as far as possible. And the Science Vessels are here. We got some Kerrigan Siege in the form of Broodlords here. Broodlords will do quite effectively. And let's see, Siege Tanks over here. Let's see, I still have this one Assault Galleon here. This thing has been alive for a long time. This is how you use Assault Galleons, not like what the other Haunted Hornet was doing, okay? You need to be able to protect them, because if you don't protect them, they're a wasted investment. They're a tier 3 upgrade that if you don't protect is literally useless, because they don't do enough damage. But their unit production here is going to be superior. Alarak coming in here, trying to just tank everything, but he just doesn't have enough chicken nuggets here, and I have a huge wave. Everyone's angry here, they're all stimmed up, and they're ready to shoot, and we're just going to burn through most of this wave here with some backline support, but most of it is coming out from here. From my Assault Galleons over here, and look at that, we are on the base now, and oh my god, there's so many tanks here. This is how you guys do it. This is how you clean up the game with Haunted Hornet. There it is. There it is. Alright. So I think it's actually very helpful that I showed you guys what a brutal loss looks like, and what a decent victory looks like too. Because you will get both of those in your time when you play. And I don't actually kill a lot of units, right? This build is by far not really the highest DPS build. And I didn't really do that much damage, but it is quite effective wave per wave. It doesn't stack, right? The only thing that stacks here are the Assault Galleons here, and you can see only this guy got some amount of kills, right? My allies here complemented my sort of one-shot wave with some stacking units, like you both got stacking units here. My wave was just for pure push. This is just a pure push strategy. Because there's nothing else you can do against like a full armored comp like that. You have to build your squishy units here, which is your ground units. And honestly, like, they have a decent amount of kills for how low HP they are. 10 kills on that guy. Oh my god, that's pretty good. And these guys here have some kills as well. So it's not too bad here. Let's have a look at our bombers here. 6 kills and 4 kills. So not too bad. Mineral Valley killed 27k. But here's Swan carrying big time with those tanks. Against that full armored comp, tanks are just so good. And 9k minerals collected, Kerrigan with 9.7 because Kerrigan. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this guide, if you guys found this guide informative, and if you guys think I've missed anything with this guide, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you like this guide, and be sure to sub if you aren't subbed yet. And until next time, I will see you guys later.